Hello, my name is Austin Mullaney, and I am new to YouTube, and I just got a new camera, a new laptop, and everything. So I'm gonna start doing movie reviews, music reviews, and drum covers down the line because I am a musician. I went and saw Captain Marvel today, and I wanted to do a film review about it. So here we go. All right, so this is the 21st entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Obviously, Brie Larson plays Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, whatever you want to call her. Me personally, I didn't think the trailer looked all that great. The very first one that came out. The second one was a little bit better, but it still didn't intrigue my interest, and I honestly wasn't going to go see this movie. And I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed myself in the movie theater. It's an origin story about Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, whatever. At first it starts off a little shaky. I didn't really know where the movie was headed within like the first 15 minutes of everything. After that first 15 minutes it just kind of goes and doesn't stop until the very end of the movie. So I'm glad we got past that 15 minutes because I was like, I don't know about this. Like, this is kind of, I don't know. The movie takes an interesting storytelling approach by using a lot of flashbacks to explain to you what exactly happened to Carol Danvers and how she ended up in this position. But it's kind of an interesting way in some portions of the movie to do it that way, but sometimes it detracted from the film itself because, I don't know, it just felt very uneven to me. That part of the story I didn't really care for. If they would have done a more cohesive way in doing so, I think it would have been a little less confusing and would have been a little bit more coherent. And as this is, the 21st entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it does have the same formula as other origin stories, kind of like Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, so you kind of have an idea as to where the story is headed. I'm not going to lie, there was a couple parts in the movie that kind of surprised me, but nothing that blew my mind or I didn't see coming. Alright, let's get into the characters. Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, she did okay. There are definitely times for her to shine, and she does so. And then there's also like 2 or 3 scenes where she's very uncharismatic or wooden, if you will. I know the character in the comics is like that as well, but I just didn't think it really fit too well. I don't know what happened, but she's just kind of dull in the movie. Maybe it's the writing. I don't know. It was just something seemed off with the way she played her. That could just be my opinion. Samuel L. Jackson plays Nick Fury, a younger version, I should say. And it's kind of like at the beginning of his S.H.I.E.L.D. career, so you get to see him kind of react and be exposed to this world in which he doesn't really know what the hell is going on, and it's kind of funny. But you also see him grow as a character and start to understand that he needs to stick with his job in order to keep the world safe. Ben Mendelsohn plays Talos. I think that's how you say it. He's the Skrull leader. And at first, when he was introduced, I was like, oh, it's just another Marvel villain, just kind of recyclable. You're not going to remember them in a day or two. But as the story progresses, you kind of start to understand where this guy is coming from. And I thought he was a pretty good Marvel character, Marvel villain, I should say. I mean, he's no Thanos and he's no Killmonger from Black Panther, but I did enjoy him as a villain, and he's one of the more memorable villains in my opinion. And then Jude Law plays one of the Kree, one of the Kree warriors that fights alongside Brie Larson, and he was alright. I think he was just kind of there for the money. He didn't really put any emphasis into his character, and I really didn't care about his character that well either. But I think he was just kind of phoning it in, so. I will give praise to the soundtrack to this movie. I don't know why people are hating on it, necessarily. They say it's kind of like 90s nostalgia, just bashing over the head like every 5 seconds. I can understand that, but I did enjoy quite a few of the songs used in this movie. It's nowhere near as good as Guardians of the Galaxy. but it is probably my second favorite soundtrack for a Marvel movie to date. So, my pros and cons for the entire movie. The war between the Skrulls and the Krees, say that 10 times fast, was very intriguing to me. They haven't been really introduced into the Marvel universe yet, and no backstory or anything, but you learn a lot throughout the entire movie about the war that is happening between them, and it was just an intriguing story to me, and I thought that worked very, very well for the movie. The partnership between Captain Marvel and Nick Fury is awesome. Some are comparing it to like a buddy cop movie. I wouldn't go necessarily as far as that, but once the second act picks up, you can tell that they're just hitting it off with each other, and that helps the story as well. A couple of the action scenes are really cool. There's one fight scene in particular with Brie Larson on a spaceship that is really cool, and you get to kind of see what she can do with her powers. And then there's also the scene from the trailers where she's on like the subway train and everything. I thought that scene was pretty cool as well. And I think what really works about this movie is the villain. You go through this journey with Carol Danvers, and you get to discover her past and everything, but you kind of discover a little bit about the villain's past as well. He has a lot of good backstory, and you understand why he's doing what he's doing, and I just think that's what Marvel has been kind of missing in a couple of their movies, is a good villain, and I thought they pulled off the villain very well. The cons. Brie Larson's performance is probably number one on this list for me. There were just some scenes that just didn't work for me, and I just kind of, I don't know. I think she's a great actress. I did enjoy her in The Room, and I think that she was definitely deserving of the Oscar for that movie. I just don't really care for her personality. It has nothing to do with the press, so don't hate me for that. Her performance here was kind of a mixed bag for me. It's not Oscar worthy by any means, and probably one of the weaker superhero portrayals I've seen. As far as a superhero herself, she's badass. I mean, she's pretty powerful, but as an actress and everything like that, I didn't really buy into her performance. The comedy felt forced a lot of the times. It kind of plays into Brie Larson's performance. Her jokes were kind of hit or miss, mostly miss. The only thing that really was funny was the cat Goose. Other than that, I really didn't find this as one of the funnier Marvel movies. It was pretty predictable. Kind of goes into what I'm about to say next. You've seen a couple of these Marvel characters before in previous films that have been released, and you know their motivations and their ultimate fates in these movies. So when you see them in Captain Marvel, you already know what their motivations are, and it kind of loses interest for the film, I guess, because you already know what's about to happen with their character. So I felt like that kind of detracted from the surprise factor. And then how Nick Fury lost his eye. It's stupid, if I do say so myself. I understand why they did it that way, but I didn't really care for the way he lost his eye. Overall, though, Captain Marvel exceeded my expectations. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed myself in the movie theater. I didn't think it was the best Marvel film, and I didn't think it was the worst Marvel film. I think it was in the middle. I won't go see it again in theaters, but I would definitely tell my friends to go see it. So I'm gonna give it like a solid 6.5 out of 10. Just Brie Larson's performance didn't really do it for me, and it's predictable in some parts. And then, you have some pretty cringe-worthy humor. The villain's great, but overall I enjoyed myself a lot. If you like my review, please subscribe down below. There will be more reviews coming, and hope you come back and see me again. Take care.